Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.
And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the hottest spot in town. It is Friday, and what an edition we have for you today. Things that should be talked about, we are going to talk about. This is what I say, and I greatly believe that if we don't talk about it, we'll never come to a fair solution. Mm-hmm. And I've got my good friend, Mr. Jerry McIntosh. He's the Vice President with Movement for Change. Mm-hmm. And we've got some things. We're going to talk about the troops today. We're going to talk about even the fight for the last portion of the civil rights today. That's being, I just don't, as the kids say, Mama, I just don't understand. It is so difficult to understand. I do not get it. But Jerry, thank you for getting up on this Friday to come in with me. Let's talk about firstly with the troops. I know Chicago was one that I was so torn apart. Why? Even when they were told we don't need you, mm-hmm. But they do. But what is the strategy that's being used with that, you think?
I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe the strategy is to intimidate people, putting people there now, so when the election come up, you will have people to be intimidated at the polling place, you know, asking for IDs and checking to see if you registered to vote, which, you know, most people that are going to be in line going to be registered to vote.
You got that right.
So, and then there, you know, you're going to have checkpoints and all of that, which is a force of intimidation. Uh-huh. And I think that some of the judges are beginning to see that this is unconstitutional. Uh-huh. And it should be, it's supposed to be anyway, but
exactly.
With this administration, you don't know what's going to happen. For years now, the military has stayed out of the domestic side of American politics and being on the street as police force, as a military force. Once you try to normalize that, then you're talking about intimidation, you're talking about people that's not trained to be law enforcement. You know, you got people trained for law enforcement. And I don't think that the National Guard should be used as a military type force for arresting or for you know, any domestic work that's not work, but dealing with the people, because you're not trained for that. They are trained for war.
Exactly.
You know, and you know, any little thing may cause an uprising in the country, and which then, you know, you got people will definitely be on the streets then. But who are you going to kill? Your family?
Thank you.
You know, your friends. You know, just because someone is out protesting. This is totally un-American and unconstitutional. America was found on protest.
Exactly.
Well, really, when you think about the Tea Party, the protests have been there for, you know, that's the First Amendment, your First Amendment right. It's a right to speak, the right to assemble, and the right for protest. And one of the things Martin Luther King always talk about, the right to protest for rights.
Exactly.
And we have to make sure that we keep that.
Most certainly. And as you can see, Jerry, it's not just, you know, always people would think that it's just one-sided, but you see everybody protesting now.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it should be.
It should have been that way all along.
Yeah, because, you know, when you think about a democracy, it don't save itself by the name. The Constitution won't save itself by being the Constitution. Right. It takes people. It is people that's trying to destroy the Constitution. And so it's people that has to make sure that it stays intact, that this experiment of where America for over 200 years has to be people driven. People cannot just sit back and not pay, you know, thinking that, you know, that you can get a job in the country, you can get educated and all of that. Yeah, all that's great. That's one of the best things about America.
Exactly.
But the thing about it, you cannot you cannot not take your responsibility as an American citizen unseriously.
Well,
you have
I
to
agree.
be serious about your responsibility. You have to be serious about getting out here, making sure that you have the right to vote, the right to education, the right to health care. All of these things are under attack.
Right now, why is it you think that right now, Jerry? I mean, with the conflict and everything that's happening in and about the community, is it the fact that, how can I say this? Because I don't want, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta be transparent because I don't like to just soften it up. I have to tell it like I see it. Why is it that right now, everything is so fearful, but mostly it is pointed toward us?
And it's been that way since many of us was brought on these shores.
Right.
It was a lot of us was already here.
Right.
Before the Constitution, before Columbus, before anybody else, we were already here. But there are those who was brought to these shores, and we have been mistreated ever since.
But
you know?
why?
And because the country needs slaves. You know, the 13th and 14th or 15th Amendment was written for us. Only the 13th parts of the 13th Amendment has been enforced. And that's the part that says you're a slave except you go to jail.
Right.
So it letting you know if you go to jail, you're a slave all over again. There are people who are being exonerated right now, have spent 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50
Plus
years
many years
in prison for something they didn't do.
Exactly.
For being set up, many of it by law enforcement, others by people who have lied on them or said they saw something or was forced to tell people that they saw something. So it's a continuation of mistreatment in this country.
With what you do, does it ever just weigh on you? And I mean, I don't even work, movement for change. You have been working and fighting in this community for, ever since I met you.
Yeah.
A whole long time.
Yeah.
But does it, sometimes does it get to you so hard, it's just like,
Oh yeah, you feel the weight of it.
that's what the word I'm using, the weight.
Yeah, you feel the weight of it because you see if you focus on your community and focus on country and focus on the world, you see the things that are taking place.
Yeah.
And you see what's coming, and you try to warn people all the time about what is coming. And because if you study history, history will repeat itself.
And that's what they're trying to do.
And history is repeating itself. Everything that we fought for in the 60s has been mostly overturned.
Exactly.
You know, everything that people fought and died and suffered for, and many of them are still suffering because of it's still political prisons, still people behind bars that are political prisons.
Right.
Prisons that will never get out. You know, many of them have died there. You know, like the Soledad brothers and others, people from the Black Panther Party.
Exactly.
Except those who kind of escaped. Shada Secure, she died in Cuba.
Right.
Many others, they are in parts of Africa and other places, that had to escape America to keep from going to prison because they was only fighting for a decent life in America. One trying to overthrow the government, one trying to cause an uproar, but because of our protests,
right,
people are in prison for that, and people are being even now ridiculed because of that. If you heard what the Speaker of the House said the other day, that people who will be protesting No King's Day this Saturday, he called them radicals, he called them communists, he called them Antifa. Antifa to only mean anti-fascism.
Exactly.
So that's not a organization or a group.
Exactly.
But they can
Agreed.
They can use that Antifa. because they done put this in people's head that Antifa is some kind of group or organization, and then arrest everybody else will be terrorists. Now, there are going to be people who are Republicans and Democrats, independents, and no label that's going to be there at these rallies this weekend. And people are going without fear because they know this is their country.
Exactly.
It's more us than it is them.
Exactly. And you see also what I wanted to ask you is that you see that everything, there's power in words. And I notice there are words that's being used to brand the negativity.
Exactly.
And they are used over and over again. That's 101 branding.
Right.
But my thing is, how is it that you can believe some of this, but you see actually what's going on?
Right.
You see what's happening, but you're going to believe the rhetoric over the truth.
Well,
why are heads like that?
Because people want to control you, psychologically. And the psychology, the psychology that's being used is to. I'm sorry about that.
Look,
I thought I had
that was one of them people calling. No, but what I'm saying is, though, Jerry, it is so. Some things bother me so bad when I see people that I thought I knew. When I thought I had a clear understanding of that person, and I was dead wrong. Because all you have to do. This is what I tell people when we get into conversations like this. Watch a person. Don't listen to what they say. Watch them.
Yeah.
That's going to tell you exactly where the heart is. All you've got to do is just sit back and pay attention.
Exactly.
They'll tell you everything you need to know.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? You sitting here talking me in my face when your right hand going the other way.
Right.
This is what I see that's happening in the country today. And it is so behooving to me, but it has to be something so powerful that the one that they're going after have for you to constantly want to tear it down.
Yeah, well, look at what's happening. When have you ever seen a president go after people?
I know what you're saying.
Citizen. When have you ever seen that?
Never.
When our on live television say, well, I want that person arrested, I want this person arrested, these are my enemies.
Yes.
Not my opponents, but my enemies.
Enemies.
You done made people an enemy of yours because they disagree with you.
Exactly.
It's people disagree with me all the time. I still sit down and talk to them because they are people.
That's people.
And they, but if I can understand why you disagree with me, or maybe you can show me where you are indifferent to me.
Exactly.
Or maybe I can show you the same thing.
Exactly. But we don't even want to have the opportunity to sit down to discuss it. That's why I say every day that we need to learn to sit down and talk about things, because if we don't, we'll never get to anything else. But I'm saying when I say sit down and talk, I don't mean you sit down, you're going to tell me what to do.
Right,
no,
exactly.
we're going to sit down and talk.
I have a conversation.
Our conversation, that means two or more. And it's just so many things that's going on. When we talk about with the troops, so how do you think that the residents, especially the migrants, okay, how are they, along with all the minority communities, when we see it's happening even here down on the Gulf Coast?
Oh yeah, when I watch, it's more to me, the problem is ICE.
Right.
To me, that's the problem. I see troops, but they're not abusing people.
Exactly.
I see ICE abusing people.
Right.
If you are law enforcement, for one, you shouldn't be wearing a mask. You should have a badge, and if you're going to arrest somebody, you should have a warrant. But to do what they are doing to people, not just migrants and immigrants. When people propel out a helicopter on top of a building, where in a black community in Chicago, and I know exactly where that spot is at, to me, you are causing problems that should not be done.
Exactly.
You know, you bringing children out in the cold. You know, it's cold in Chicago right now at night. You know, it's not like here.
Burn it up year round.
It's down in at night. It's down in the 40s and 50s and 60s. You know, but it's a different kind of cold. It's
Of course.
cold. You got children zip tied to each other, some with no clothes on. You put guns to elderly women head that come out to see what's going on. They hear the ruckus. You kick in their doors, tear their furniture up, tear their house up, you know, and leave it if it's no big deal.
Unbelievable.
That's an issue. And you are trying to cause some kind of response to push martial law in the country.
Right.
And that means that you can stop people from voting. You know, you can shut down different parts of the country. Already, over $800 million is being withheld from Chicago because it's a, quote, Democrat city, but as if Republicans don't live there.
That's what bothers me a lot. I'm looking, that bothers me. As if nobody in the world but a person who's under the label as a Democrat.
Right.
Because that's not true.
It's
But
right.
that's when it comes back to, I say, when you're trying to plant and brand something to cause it to be the negative.
Right. You know, when you go up on the north side of Chicago, the majority of the people there, they are Republicans. They are wealthy, rich, you know, but they live in Chicago.
Exactly.
You know, and then they try to, you know, Chicago is not even on the top 10 of violence in the country.
I know.
You know, but that's because President Obama was from Chicago.
Exactly.
That's what has been pushed over and over again.
Exactly.
And the amount of, if people get killed because of some gang bomb, but it's like
That
an
happens
outlier.
everywhere you go.
Yeah, that's like an outlier. The majority, 90% of Chicago is nice to live in. You know, there are places where they are doing renovations. They have renovated places that are now beautiful. You know,
I think
people
that's the
live
words
on the
that they
lakefront.
use to try to paint that picture to make it look that way. And I want to come back. When we come back, I want to pop back the fact when you said, because that's where President Obama was from. And I'll tell you what I think, that because with the current administration, he has a vendetta with that man. I mean, totally a vendetta. We'll be back with more right here. Please, this is what I ask of you every day. Don't sit at home and look at the camera and say, ooh, and then when I see you, girl, I want to say this. Talk about it. This is how we come to better conclusions. Maybe you have something that'll make me feel better. And I don't mean that just for the black community. I'm talking about everybody. Come to the table. I'm offering you a seat. We'll be back with more right here on Sunshine's Corner.
Good day, Pensacola. Welcome to a new segment on health and wellness sponsored by Baptist Healthcare in partnership with Sunshine's Corner. Every first Wednesday of the month during Sunshine's telecast, we're going to be bringing you information about health and wellness and ways to make sure we're improving the quality of your health care here in Pensacola. After all, we want to ensure that you're going to the right place at the right time and for the right reason, and that you don't feel alone. Can't wait to see you.
At FPL, we plan for storm season all year long. We're strengthening poles to better withstand severe weather. We're clearing lines to improve resiliency, and we're constantly training teams to act at a moment's notice. Because we're always working, always preparing. So when storms do hit, you can count on us. FPL, working for you every single day.
Sonia Bay's Botanicals is a local wellness boutique that specializes in infused fruit juices, medicinal herbal tea remedies, clean hair and body care, and herbal infused sea moss gels, which can be purchased 1 for $25 or 2 for $40. This sea moss contains 92 of the body's 102 essential minerals used to increase energy, relieve pain and inflammation, and improve blood pressure and more. From parasite cleanse to detox and weight loss to blood sugar control, Sonia Bay's Botanicals has a natural solution for you.
I'm Emily Echeverria, Marketing Communications Director for Council on Aging of West Florida and the host of Coming of Age. Watch our show to find out what we're doing for our seniors and their families and hear from area experts and local business owners about their programs and services. Want to help? Find out how you can work with us to bring a better future to our seniors. Watch Coming of Age, 3:30 p.m. Wednesdays, only on Blab TV.
And welcome back to this conversation that we're having today with the Vice President of Movement for Change, Mr. Jerry McIntosh. And we're talking about all of these things that are happening in the world right now that we need to be more mindful of. I think that some of us are just trying to say, let me brush it off my shoulder, it's going to get better. In which way? But it's not.
You know, one of the things Fannie Lou Hamer said was, you can pray until you faint, but if you don't get up and do something about the situation, God is not going to put it in your lap.
That's right.
And we have to think like that.
Exactly.
You pray, you get up, and you do the work that needs to be done.
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah. You know, so when you look at the condition of the world and look at what's happening in our country, the chicken has, as Malcolm X says, come home to roost. And the people that are supporting this administration don't realize that this administration don't care nothing about you.
Not at all.
Look at John Bolton, who was in Trump administration. He went after him for the same thing that they said he did.
Exactly.
You know, top secret files that he had in his house. But now he's going after John Bolton, who, because he wrote a book, and now they're trying to say he had classified information. You know,
they take it and go too far. I mean,
and it's to humiliate and to tell people, if no matter what, if I'm wrong, I'm still coming to get you.
Exactly.
You know, Tish James, who got the 34 counts against him in New York, and fraud and all of that, and going after her on fraud. James Comey, who was head of the FBI, who was investigating, did investigation. They're going after him. Well, why? You know, because someone investigated you. You were guilty.
Exactly.
You know, you was adjudicated guilty. You know, you was impeached in the House. You know, so, you know, you stopped the investigation because you won the presidency.
Exactly.
You know, but all of these things, you know, when we go back to voting rights, you know, people don't forget about Section 4 and 5 of the Voting Rights Act, which was the pre-clearance, which meant that polling places could not be just up and moved unless they checked with the Justice Department. The Justice Department used to be the last stop for people who, when the states didn't do right by them. Now the Justice Department have become an arm of the right wing in this country. So has the Supreme Court, which is supposed to be a neutral arbiter of you know, the last place that you can go, which is the law of the land, the last place that you can go to get justice, supposedly.
Right.
Now,
you're right there. I like that. Supposedly.
Yeah. Now you can't even. You would do well not to go to the Supreme Court because they are overturning everything.
I have found out, not cut you off, but I have found out how so many people, how can I say this? The way that they take certain things. What's happening in the current administration? I'm talking about some of us. Will take that and still try to go to that, thinking that's going to help you. But don't you see what he's done to those that went to try to help him? First ones. And it bothers me that if you don't do it right, don't think that that's going to soften your way anyway, because you got to realize by now, if you have a tan, you don't want nothing to do with me.
No, because you're purging.
Exactly.
You know, you're purging people. People that show you how deep this thing goes. there are farmers losing their farms. There are farmers who have fruits, fruits and vegetables and
yes.
all that are rotting on the ground here in America. What do people think they get this food from?
Thank you.
We bailing out Argentina for to the tune of $40 billion. That money should be going to farmers, and especially in particular black farmers who have never got just due, who have never got the loans and all of that they needed to keep their farm. At one time, blacks had over 20 million acres of farmland in this country. I think it's down to about 2 now.
Right.
Because we couldn't get the money to buy the seed to replant, couldn't get the loans to buy tractors and the equipment we needed to farm. So many times they had to give it up or lose it, and so or sell it off. And many times, just a whole host of things that hindered black farmers. And then the white farmers sued. Even when Joe Biden had, I think, gave something like $5 billion, which was a drop in the bucket that the farmers needed, that they could get some money from, and the white farmers sued to stop that, so that they could not mechanize their farming.
How can we get our citizens to recognize that every single thing, all these actions are quietly eroding all of our rights?
Exactly.
Quietly taking away all of our rights. But how can we get them to open up? Come on, we got to work together in order to get this taken care of. We can't be pulling here, that, and the other. I watch some things when I hear people, and lay off Jasmine Crockett. They're trying to, this woman speaks out.
Yeah, because she's brilliant.
She's brilliant.
And she brings the thing to the fore that many won't say.
That's right.
What's amazing to me, even Marjorie Taylor
Yes.
has, she like, wait a minute, there are some things that are wrong here. My constituency is going to have to pay a price for this, what we are doing. And evidently her constituency is calling her and telling, but the rest of them won't even go and meet with their constituency.
I got you.
They won't even have meetings. But Jasmine Crockett, the sister that was in St. Louis, I can't think of her, Bush, they pushed her out. The brother that was in, was it New York or New Jersey? I can't think of which one it was. They pushed him out. All of these people who will speak out and try to bring America back to where it needs to be, at least bring some semblance of justice back to the country, and so that we can have money for education, money for Social Security. I don't think people realize how bad this thing have gotten.
Exactly.
Right now, your insurance could be triple. There
and
was
mine, when I tell you.
When you look at housing, to pay house insurance, your insurance for your housing, it doubled.
Yes, it did.
I know
because
mine
the last
doubled.
election what happened? We put the man in there.
Doubled. Before this, now we are talking about health insurance, which used to bankrupt people because they couldn't pay it, and then they had limits on the insurance. Most people don't remember that before what we call Obamacare and the ACA.
Exactly.
It was limited. If you got up to your limit, you was out of insurance.
Exactly.
Then you got to try to go and try to get some insurance, and if you had pre-existing condition, most of the time you couldn't even get it unless you paid an exorbitant amount for your premium. So we are back to that point right now. If the House don't put these supplements back in, so that even if you got a job, the insurance gonna go up on your job because the pool gonna be limited. Because you're talking about taking 20 million people who are buying insurance, but with a supplement. Once you take that giant amount of money out of that pool, that means everything else gonna go skyrocket.
Absolutely.
So,
how do we get people to what can we help people to feel that they're when things like this are happening? I hate that we be so quiet. and just let it happen. You
Yeah.
know, oh, Jerry's going to take care of that, but you don't really need my voice. You don't need, but your voice matters.
We need your voice. If you got any finance, we need that.
Exactly.
You know, if you want people to fight your struggles and get you information, you got to make sure that they have the wherewithal to do
Exactly.
it. You know, we you know, I've said before, we go to Tallahassee on our own expense. You know, we don't use the expense of moving for change because we are on a shoestring budget. We live on a shoestring budget, but we're still struggling. We're still fighting. We're still trying to make sure that we get the information out to people as much as possible. We're going to have to beef up our social media platforms, and that's for all of us because information is important, and information is being cut off from the American people. And
but have you noticed this too, though? On certain things on social media, you know they got control over that, right?
Oh yeah.
Now there are certain things they will not let be said.
Exactly.
There are certain things that you can talk about on social media. On this platform, it's okay. But if it's coming from your platform, there are powerful information that's being restricted. I'll give you an example. When Oprah did her thing, all those followers she has, it says she had, what, 6,000? Come on, man.
Yeah, she got over, what, close to 20 million followers somewhere.
And you had 6,000?
I think Roland Martin said he had a few thousand.
Roland Martin.
But that show you how, you know, with the snap of a finger, you can
do.
Shut everything down. And that's what most people don't realize, that we've gotten away from communicating. We're going to have to go back to town hall meetings so that we can give good information.
Exactly.
Not misinformation.
Exactly.
But information that's going to be conducive for people to move forward in the future. We're definitely going to have to do that.
I agree.
And
well, Jerry, we got to go to break, but we're going to come back, and I want to find out just how that's affecting us right here in Pensacola. I want to find out so people can see you think, but it is. So it's time for us to get up and walk this thing out together and do some things to make a difference. Stay with us and don't be so quiet. Speak up. Because I hate it when we're so tight-lipped, but then when things go wrong, you crying to Jerry. Jerry, why did that happen? You didn't talk about it. Be a part of this conversation at 850-432-7768. I want to hear from you. Sunshine's Corner.
You finally found the perfect car in Racing Blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
Keep going, more. No, stop!
Are you looking for local and regional sports highlights and insights?
Join us for the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz every Saturday morning at 9 Central for a wrap-up of high school games and upcoming college matchups.
Plus interviews this fall with high school coaches and college insiders.
Join us right here live every Saturday at 9 a.m. on Blab TV for the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz.
We'll see you then.
So you've got to come join us November 12th and 13th at the Pensacola Little Theater for this year's EntreCon. And our theme is Embracing Collective Growth. It's a great opportunity for everybody to come together, whether you're a business leader, a business owner, or new to the working world, there's something for everyone. And we've got some great speakers coming from all over. You'll walk away with some great lessons learned and some great connections that you've made with others. So please come join us in November, the 12th and 13th, Pensacola Little Theater for EntreCon.
The Emerald Coast Utilities Authority state-of-the-art materials recycling facility processes recyclables for communities throughout the region, lowering need for more landfills. This highly efficient recycling service accepts glass, paper, cardboard, plastics, aluminum, and more. But we need your help. Please make sure your recyclables are clean of garbage, food, and liquids. Also, please remember that plastic shopping bags, foam products, or yard waste are not recyclable. To learn more, go to livegreenecua.com.
And welcome back to this Friday edition of Sunshine's Corner. I wish I could talk all day because there's so many things that's going through my head right now, Jerry, that I could just talk about. We were talking off camera about the discrimination that's going on in the world today, but how is that happening right here in Pensacola?
It's happening in housing, you know, because they always talk about affordable housing, but affordable for who and for what group, you know? Then you look at job discrimination.
Yep.
In the field of education, there's discrimination because the affordability of it. So when there are young people who may want to go to college, not going to be able to go.
Taking all the way the grants from the HBCUs.
And what's worse than that? The most educated people in our society, who are black women, statistics shows it everywhere, are the ones that are being purged over. I know some people say it's over 300,000, but we know it's more than that.
Of course.
Because that was just in the government workforce, where we were, because of corporations, when corporate America wouldn't hire us, so most of us went into state jobs, federal jobs.
Exactly.
You know, in the federal government, city jobs.
So they're trying to eliminate, they are eliminating that.
Yeah, so where you were not so much discriminated against. But in the corporate world, it's
horrendous.
It's atrocious.
Oh God, it is.
And still is. It hadn't
still
changed.
Is to this day.
Yeah, in banking and loans, finance, all of that for business. You can go out and get a $1 million car and get finance for it. But you go and try to buy a home.
Thank you.
You know, oh no, we can't give you that. You know, you got to have this, you got to have that. But how is it that you can give me money for a $100,000 car,
but you won't give me the money for a $100,000 house?
That's going to decrease soon as I drive it off the lot.
Exactly.
But you won't give it to me for a house, which is going to increase.
There you go.
You know, which I could use to help get my children to education and all of that. So discrimination is, you know, that was like the subprime loans. From all the way from the 70s all the way in through the early 2000s when the market crashed. Those subprime loans, they know that they were never going to be sustained anyway. So around 50 to almost 60% of the black wealth was in our homes and all of that.
Of course.
In 2008 when the market crashed,
I remember that.
We lost 60% of our wealth in the country. You know, and most people don't realize that because it wasn't just the housing we lost. It was in the education. It was in, you know,
there were jobs asking you to take furloughs.
Yeah.
You had to take furloughs. It happened to me.
Yeah.
You had to take a furlough, and if you didn't, you gonna get an extended furlough.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the fact of it is, Jerry, when I say with even just here, some of the things that I can talk about even here, it's not just happening, it's happening all over the world. But what we're trying to get our viewers and our friends in the community to understand is we have got to come together, quit this separation. And I mean, let's work together to make change. Change does not feel good, but it's absolutely necessary. And if we don't, the change that we're going to get is something that's going to be given to me. It's like, okay, let me give this to you because I think this is what you deserve. Bull.
You know, you're absolutely right about change. If people hadn't changed, you know, there would still be slavery in the country.
Exactly.
It may not be to the level that it was then because the rebellion was going on back then. It was just, you know, written out of history. It was just written out of history. But I don't know why people think that we would lay down and allow ourselves to go back into slavery on the level that some people wanted. You know, there are countries in Africa right now begging black people from America and around the diaspora to come back home and let's rebuild our continent here. There are places that we have choices now. You know, back then we didn't know the lay of the land and all of that because we was new to the land, and the ones that did know, they deported them up out of here. You know, so now we know the lay of the land. We know how to move in these spaces.
Right.
You know, we sit at the door and listened.
Exactly.
We got educated in the systems.
Most certainly.
You know, so, you know, it's just going to take an effort for people to sit down and realize that there are not going to be any more slaves in America.
Nuh-uh.
Not on the level. Now there are people they are picking off one at a time, putting into prison to
But they've
be
been doing that
slaves.
all the time,
Yeah,
too.
they've been doing that from the inception. As soon as slavery was over,
Exactly.
there were very few prisons in the country. But once slavery was over, and the 13th Amendment
They
was
figured out
written,
another way.
yeah, the loophole was the 13th Amendment. And it was legal to put you in prison and make you a slave.
Most certainly.
And it's still that way today. It's people don't realize that there are people still picking cotton on these slave farms in places like Louisiana, Kentucky, in these different prisons. They're doing the farm work.
They're still picking cotton?
Yeah.
Not with a machine?
Not with a machine. That's your punishment. In Texas and places like that.
What did you say? Texas, Louisiana?
Yeah.
Kentucky?
You know, probably Arkansas, Tennessee. You know, most of these places where they got fish markets, and not fish market, but where they raise fish and stuff, they're done by inmates. You know, clothing you wear, you know, all of the stuff that we do, we you know, the same people that make computer chips and can do computer chips in prison come out and can't get a job.
Come on, man, tell me about that. What can we do now, Jared, to help people to realize that if they feel like their rights are being ignored, what is the step you would tell somebody what they need to do?
Well, the thing about it, everything has changed so much, and I often tell people, what happened in the civil rights movement, it was great. We pricked the conscience of the people. Now, what you have to do, you have to have attorneys to
go for you.
Because these are the people that write in legislation, attorneys, and these corporate tycoons like the Heritage Foundation and others, they're the ones who are writing the legislation and giving it to the politicians. And this is what we want you to do because we paid for you now. We've bought you, we gave you the money to do this. This is what you're going to do. And that's what they do. And that's why you have all these draconian legislative people that are pushing this legislation. Right. When you hear the Speaker of the House get up and call American people terrorists, those are the kinds of, that's the writing that coming out of that Project 2025.
It was there. We told them over and over again
because people didn't believe that it would really happen.
And look what has happened in the last 9 months.
It's just think, we got 3 more years of this.
3 more years? So how can the faith community, the educators, community advocates help keep civil rights? Because we don't need that to be tried. How can we come together to fight toward making sure that's left alone?
And this is going back to, that's when you have to have think tanks like the Heritage Foundation and others to match them so that you can get that information and make sure that it is distributed throughout the community so that people will know what is in that legislation. And then you need lawyers and all that to interpret it because it's written by lawyers and because the language that's that's in these legislative programs are not sometimes easy to understand because a word can be what you think that word means
something else.
It means something else in accordance with that legislation.
Exactly.
So we have to make sure that we have, for one thing, you need money. You know, anybody think that they won't need the NAACP, Movement for Change, and other organizations, you're gonna need them more now than ever before. I'm talking about since the inception of these organizations, like the NAACP, which is either around 100 years old. So you need them just as much now
as you did
at its inception.
Exactly.
And that means that you're gonna have to support organizations like Movement for Change, like NAACP, like what used to be the Southern Christian Leadership. I don't know who was at the helm of that, SCLC, other organization, the Urban League, and all of that. That means that we're gonna have to really step up.
ACLU.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna have to step up.
I mean, these are all organizations that. Okay, and when I brought that up, because, you know, if we go back, and I know that I'm not living in the past, but I know that the foundation of what Dr. King did was strong. And now, even in the faith community, there's a separation there.
And I know we put this on the back of one person. Martin Luther King was the spokesperson for
because there were so many other behind him.
Yeah, just see, he was the spokesperson. He couldn't have did anything by himself.
Abernathy, all those people.
Yeah, well, you got the foot soldiers who were out there beating the pavement. The women that was behind, that was the one that was getting the literature out.
Sure was.
That was making sure the information got out. These were school teachers. They're my
educators. That's right.
They were the best of the best. They was writing. They were making sure everything was taken care of. You had the ones that then they did the cooking. They made sure that they had food when these meetings was taking place.
But why have we lost that?
Because we thought we had caught the big fish.
That big fish is
yeah.
I mean,
when we got that fish to shore, it was nothing but bones.
Come on now.
All the meat was off of it. You know, and that's where we're at now.
That's where we are.
So we are back to where we started at. And if this ruling come down, and I want people to understand, Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act is the last vestige of the Voting Rights Act.
Hold up, Jim. We're going to talk about that because we need to go a little bit deeper on that because you need to understand what's at stake for us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having a conversation. I've invited you to the table, and I mean, but I think these type conversations that people are, you said it earlier, they're afraid to have them because of what you think that what may affect you, but look at what's affecting all of us. We're going to talk about that. Take the I out of the equation, it's us. Let's talk about it right here on Sunshine's Corner.
My name's Kelly McLeod. I'm the owner of Bella Magazine. Bella is a source of uplifting and inspiring content for the women of Pensacola.
I think the magazine is just so thoughtfully done. There's a lot of attention to detail. The stories are really good.
You've got seriousness, you've got fun, education, fashion. It just encompasses everything.
Women are multidimensional, and so is Bella.
From the efficiency of American natural gas and the dependability of nuclear power, to the strength of Florida's sunshine and the flexibility of advanced battery storage systems, we leverage a diverse mix of energy sources to power our growing state, ensuring reliable, low-cost power for your home or business whenever you need it. FPL, working for you every single day.
Adventure, fun, and connections is all right here in your backyard with Pensacola Parks and Recreation. Bike the trails and feel the rush. Come to our senior programs for ages 50 and older. Learn new skills and make new friends. Tee up at Osceola Golf Course and paddle into nature with Bayview Outdoor Pursuits. Pensacola Parks and Recreation. Discover more, play more, live more.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quint Studer, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back to the hottest spot in town. Thank you there. But look, guys, I think the conversation goes on rolling while we're off camera, because I think that I said, oh my God, I can't believe the hour is up. We are having a very needed conversation. I think that needs to be had more often, so that people understand the depth of what's being done that's affecting not just one of us, but it's affecting all of us. And there are some people across the street, I have to say, you think some of these things are not going to affect you. Wrong answer. But they are.
They are. That case that the oral arguments that they had yesterday before the Supreme Court. It's a case that come out of Louisiana on redistricting, where the court said it was all right to have a second person to be a black representative to Congress. Louisiana filed a suit to stop it. So they knew that if they took it to the Supreme Court, more than likely the Supreme Court was going to overturn it. And if they overturn that case, that means that they have set up a scenario now where, because it becomes the law of the land, not just in Louisiana, but the law of the land.
Right.
Redistricting now gonna be one of the major components of what the right wing do and Republicans do to push around 19 black people out of Congress. And there's a possibility it could go higher than that because of redistricting. That means,
you see, the things like that bothers me.
Yeah, and so Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, as I said, is the last vestige of this. And all of the fights, the struggles that took place in the 60s, in that period of history, is being overturned. The Civil Rights Bill, all of these are part of the Civil Rights Bill, from 1963 on to the late 60s.
Right.
All of these bills came about. The Fair Housing, the Voting Rights Act, just a whole host of legislation that came out during that period is now being overturned. And when you talk to people, they're like, oh man, it's going to be all right,
But that's what I'm talking about.
No, it's not going to be all right.
That's the part that I'm talking about.
Not for you.
That's the part that I'm talking about that really stings me.
And then you got those who look like us, who will support overturning, such as the person that's on the court now, Clarence Thomas, who benefited from
everything,
from what the civil rights movement did.
He
is the beneficiary of that. Thurgood Marshall, who was there, who fought so that he could sit on the Supreme Court, who filed cases all over the South and other places so that black people would have rights to sit. King and Abernathy and Young and just a whole host of people who was leading protests, but the people that were the foot soldiers like us and others who was out there protesting to make sure that we have the right to sit, on judges' seats and just in the seat of justice.
Right.
To see another black man sitting there overturning all of this stuff.
That's something that makes you boil.
Yeah.
We're down to the last 3 minutes here. All right, now, what would you say to the community that's going to give them hope on the things that we're dealing with right now, what we need to do?
Well, the only thing that right now, like I said earlier, we're going to have to start doing more town hall meetings. We're going to have to go to, hopefully, that churches would come together and see that this is going to affect their constituency so bad that they are not going to be able to put money into the church because they're not jobs are being lost. When the economy, in the black community, when the best and the brightest of us is out of jobs, that leave the people that has not the money to put into institutions, that leaves them,
Exactly.
Just floundering in the waters of life. And so what we're going to have to do is make sure that we get proper information. That means that we're going to have to fire back up our protests. And and there are people who've been telling people, "Nah, we can't be out here. We can't do this because they."
Yes, you can.
I'm like, why
Yes,
are
you
you
can.
telling people that?
Because I think that's one of the shut up mouths that don't want to do it. Just want to have,
Yeah. The worst, they protest in the 60s and 50s and 40s under the worst condition where you could be lynched.
Exactly. Tell everybody how they can get in touch with you at Movement Change. We're down to the last.
Oh, you can catch us you can call us at 850-432-4411. We're at 1603 North Davis Highway on the corner of Marina and Davis. We're right there by Mount Canaan Church.
Exactly.
So across the street, so if you want to find us. But again, that number is 850-432-4411.
And Jerry, I just want to say, continue to do what you're doing, because we got to have a soldier to get out there, got to be that voice piece, and to continue to encourage the community to get on board so we can work things together. You will be back, because we're going to have to talk about more.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for that, but I want to say this to our viewers today. Please, don't be the one that say that I can't. Be the one that I say that I will, and I'm going to bring somebody with me so that we can come together as a community, because it's all about us. What's being taken away from us. Gotta go, but I tell you, gonna leave you as I do every day. Never, ever, ever lose your focus. Always remember, if you keep God first, I guarantee you'll be a total success. So until Monday, for another day of fun, another day of information, know that I love you. Have a great weekend. And I want you to go out and tell somebody today. Tell somebody the need. Do somebody the things what needs to be done. So until Monday, my friends, have a great weekend. Know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone. Thank you so much, Jerry McIntyre.
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.